tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese especial, tú tienes esa cosa especial.
Huzzah, I am Monk, your host. Welcome to PIDCAST episode 34, the podcast by fans, for fans, and for the people who just really need to vent about the Colorado Rapids. PIDCAST is part of the Bangarang soccer community, telling soccer stories a mile in the sky and on till morning. After you're all done pressing pins into your front office voodoo dolls, come touch grass with us at our free-to-play pickup around Denver. Don't forget to check out our sibling show, Summit Up, covering all things Denver Summit FC, NWSL, and women's sports here at 5280. Say hello to my co-host and fantasy queen, Fitouri.
Hello, everyone.
And the guy who's already putting in his resume for the gaffer position next year, Matt.
I mean, I was going to go for team president, but like, if Chris Armas wants to hire me on as an assistant coach, vibes guy, like, I'm in.
President, Matt, you really have to be realistic about what vacancies there's going to be. That one's never coming open.
Owner? I want to become owner
Ooh.
of the Rapids. I've been saving up all my yacht and therapy money, guys. So like, I don't know. This will be our long con. We need to get in with the environmentalist scene and conduct a study of how much it's going to cost the Cronkies and KSE to do something with the prairie dog population, and just convince them that it actually behooves them to get out on the Rapids now before this cost is incurred, and we'll just take the team off their hands.
See, what they'll do is they'll take the budget that's supposed to go to the screen that's never going to come, and they'll put it to the prairie dog budget.
That's
Here's
fine.
what we need to do.
Honestly, prairie dog budget over screen budget, I'm cool with that.
Realistically, we just get someone in the Trump administration to write P.S. all sports teams must be publicly owned on one of the 20 executive orders he's going to sign this week. He won't read it. Then we'll just liberate all the sports teams.
Oh. Yeah, but executive orders aren't real. Executive orders can't hurt you.
That's what I'll be telling Cronky as he hands over the keys to the Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Come on. We've all had, grandpa at the table, whiskey in his coffee mug, giving out executive orders at Thanksgiving. We know what that's like.
It's very true.
We should start a PIDCAST executive order segment where we just make decrees on things we have no authority over.
Guys, just put it on the book, Sarah. We've got a long off season to program for.
Anyways, we have no games to recap this week. As we're on a bye, so the Rapids could not disappoint. We'll just say that they could not disappoint us this weekend because they weren't playing. But we will look at how the results around the MLS fell for our playoff hopes, share our conversation with both the man with the hour, Darren Yapi, and Rapids 2 head coach Erik Bushey, featuring guest interviewer from Team NBS Media, Keith Richards. I feel like there's a guy named that's really famous, right? As well as a preview of the Pids' push for the postseason versus LAFC and Rapidos' first-round playoff bout versus Vancouver. And while we will be sure to touch on the battle for the ages in fantasy, that's a lot. So let's get right to Pidder Chatter, Matt.
First, I wanna take a moment. Sarah, did you mark that? Monk got Vancouver on the first try.
I think we really need a list of all of your twos. We have Rapidos. What was it? Doubletree for Austin, Vancouver.
His goal is to try and mess me up in these things.
I've got to entertain myself somehow, guys. All right. On to Pidder Chatter. Unfortunately, the U.S. Youth National Team was knocked out in the quarterfinals of the 2025 U20 World Cup down in Chile. They faced a very good Moroccan side that took them out of contention with a 3-1 loss. I think the silver lining is we saw Adam Beaudry started in goal for all of the matches, and we saw Noah Cobb score a goal So while it wasn't an ideal finish, I think this is a really promising experience, and it really signals good things to come for two of the younger guys on our squad. Speaking of younger guys on our squad, Kamani Stewart-Baines was back in cleats at training today. This is big news because if you remember, we talked about his ankle ligament injury that he suffered when he was on loan in Louisville, and he's back working on the side, so he's not back into full training. But you could tell it just meant a lot to him. His spirits were high. And Kamani's such a vibes guy that it made us all feel a little bit happier, just kind of seeing him out there and having some fun with the day. Also on the side was Josh Atencio. I talked to Josh a little bit about the concussion. He said this week he's starting to really kind of get back to feeling like himself. I don't know yet as to his status Saturday, but I think it's really important to just point out how just concussions can be a big issue in any sports, and to always think about the humans that are wearing those jerseys and playing these games. I know when I saw Josh go down on the broadcast, I thought it was particularly scary. So it was really good to get a couple minutes to just talk to him on the side today about how he was doing and check in on him. And I hope he's back out there as soon as he feels up to it. Other news, the U.S. men's national team is in town. At time of recording, they're playing tonight against the Socceroos at your Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Or if you were the comms director for U.S. men's national team, at Dick's Goods Sporting Park. That was a funny media day happening. Which, speaking of media day, I attended to cover for PIDCAST and Bangarang. Media day was cool because we got to do the mix zone where we talked to Flo Balogun, Alex Freeman, Brendan Aronson, and also Christian Roldan. We then watched training and then had a press conference with head coach Mauricio Pochettino. Some highlights were at the training. Poch comes down through the media corps, just shaking hands, and I joked that if there were babies to kiss, he would have done that. But just the most personable guy coming through, shaking everyone's hand, shook mine and Matt Pollard's hands twice. Not to say we were memorable, but he just wanted to make sure that we were greeted properly. And it was one of those, like, looks you dead in the eyes, firm handshake. You feel like this guy's my best friend. Like, it's hard to say anything otherwise. So that was really cool. Got to talk to Brendan Aronson about coming into town, seeing Paxton's new apartment, having Paxton show him around Denver, and kind of you could feel that proud big brother moment. It was cool talking to Alex Freeman a little bit about representing the MLS. He's been such a bright star for Orlando and one of my favorite players to watch in the game this season. So I was excited to meet and talk to him. I didn't get to ask Flo Balogun about why he broke Moise Bombito's legs. I got cut off before I could get another question in. So we'll save that one for another day. But just know, Flo Balogun, like, I like you. You're a good dude. But it's on site until you answer for breaking our boy Moise's legs. No, he's a super nice guy. I'm sure there's like a camaraderie there where they've reached out and talked about that situation. Some other funny notes were during the press conference. If you've been into where the Rapids hold their large scale pressers, it's I will affectionately refer to as kind of a warehouse room kind of vibe downstairs near the locker rooms, and it's really loud. There's one of those retractable garage doors. And when the wind hits it, as it's often wont to do in Commerce City, it just rattles and rattles and rattles. And it was a particularly windy day yesterday during this press conference. So Pochettino is up there on stage, and it sounds like a hurricane is occurring. Not knowing the stadium, Pochettino stops the press conference abruptly to go, "Is that a washing machine? Are they doing the wash right now during the press conference? Could we please turn that off?" So I thought that was a little fun, like inside baseball for me. Matt Pollard, Mauricio from Telemundo was there to have experienced that before, and to watch someone, especially the head coach of the national team, come in and be like, "Are you guys honestly doing the wash during my press conference?" I did ask Pochettino about the status of Zach Steffen, namely not being called up to a camp and a game in his home stadium, rather diplomatically or promisingly, depending on how you want to take it. Poch didn't skip a beat, said that they know Zach very well. Zach's on their radar, that Steffen has been unlucky in past camps due to injuries and ailments, and that should Zach perform next season, he will absolutely be right back in the conversation for those World Cup lead-up camps, and a potential spot in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico hosted 2026 World Cup. Sarah, I think you had something in Pidder Chatter this week.
Yeah, and so the last thing for Pidder Chatter is folks probably know that Summit FC tickets are on sale now. So if you put in your order for Summit FC tickets, your deposit, they are going through those based on your order number. So if you look back when you originally put your deposit in, there'll be like an order number associated with that, and that's the order they're going in. I got mine today. I know other friends were getting their calls yesterday, and I believe I was in like the 2000s somewhere. So if you're in that area, be ready. You'll get, how that works is you'll get an email ahead of time letting you know that your tickets go live the next day. And then someone from their front office will give you a call if you haven't gone in and made your order to make sure that you get your order made on the day. So just be on the lookout for that. And 114 is the new 117. So 114 is the supporter section when you go in to buy your ticket. If that's where you're going to be, it's general admission, and that comes out to approximately $350. So if you're looking to support the other side, make sure that you get in with the 14ers, and hopefully we'll see you in the supporter section. And of course, in the meantime, check out our sister program, Summit Up, which is covering all things for the new NWSL team. Hopefully folks got those deposits in if they're hoping to get tickets over there.
Speaking of Summit Up, we are going to have the vice president of ticketing for Denver Summit FC on the show this week to walk through that whole ticket process, what it was like, kind of figuring out how to do the conversions, planning for a temporary stadium, planning for a permanent stadium in 2028. So that's Bianca Velez. We're really excited to have her on. And then we'll also have on the Denver Summit's second signee ever, Lourdes Bosch, to kind of introduce herself to the fans and talk about her current time down in Monterrey in the Liga MX Femenil. So we're really excited and love just the availability and the open embrace we're receiving from Denver Summit and that community to kind of bring those conversations to the community and the fan base.
I love
Can
that.
you
And I
make
just
sure...
really... I really want to emphasize when they called me on the phone, I kind of poked a little bit. And remember, everyone, that they're playing in a smaller stadium out in Centennial. So they will sell out this year. So don't think that you're locked in just because you have a deposit. As soon as you get that email, go in and secure your tickets. You will only be able to secure as many tickets as deposits you put in. So be on top of it so you don't miss out on this inaugural season.
It's true. I just want to make sure that the screen I look at, it looks like Minecraft, so that I feel like more in tune with my soccer life at the deck. So that's really what I'm hoping for, but I don't feel like that's going to happen.
You might have to bring a slingshot and kill some pixels.
So I've never been to Nazi Slogan Stadium in Sandy, Utah, but in this week's episode of Commerce City Radio, Mitch Carroll made the trip out on the bus. Fun listen if you want to hear about kind of the details of that trip. But said that their scoreboard is just as bad, if not worse off than ours. So what's going on with scoreboards abutting the Rocky Mountains? I don't know.
It's the altitude. It's above 60
Damn
feet.
it, you beat me to it.
Fittouri will have to let us know where that breakdown
the
is.
Scoreboard is?
Do pixels require oxygen to function?
Oh, that's a monk question. They didn't teach me that in law school.
All right. Well, if it's cool with you guys, why don't we jump into our interview with Darren Yapi here, and then we'll preview the LAFC do or die match. Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, I had a really nice conversation with Darren Yapi. Shout out to Darren for taking the time out of his schedule, and Peter Cohen for helping set everything up on that one. And we're gonna roll right into that. Here's Darren Yapi. All right, everyone. We are incredibly psyched for this conversation today. With us is number 77, or recently number 20 on the 22 under 22 list, the man who has an hour named after him and whom I think would be the runaway favorite if the Rapids did a Kids' Choice Award. With us today is Darren Yapi. Darren, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know this is a big week for you and the team. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, for sure.
Yeah, so I just want to start off the conversation the way we do with everyone that comes on the show and ask you to tell us about who you are in your own words outside of soccer.
I just like to chill. I got a lot of friends and family here, so I just like to be around friends and the fam too. So that's just kind of like how I spend kind of like just my days, like getting on the game with some of my teammates, just doing stuff like that. To just sometimes you just need to take a step away from the game. So then that's just what I do, just hang out with friends, family, and just teammates.
Now, you said getting on a game. Is that 2K? I know that was a big point of contention earlier in the season, who the best 2K player was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still playing 2K. I started playing FIFA again, or FC. Right. Started playing that a little bit again. So yeah, just getting into it.
How are the squad rankings on FIFA? Who's the best player?
I have no clue. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. Sorry.
Oh, that's safe. Did the 2K rankings change at all?
It's Kimani or Calvin. It's one of the two. Like, I don't want anyone beefing with me or nothing. So.
I saw Kimani was back in cleats at training today. I was really excited to see him. How's it back having him moving around and being with the group again?
Man, it's good. It's good to see him back. These experiences are tough, like with injuries and stuff. But I think he's took it kind of well, and he was strong throughout. And he recovered well. He was professional, and that's kind of the result you get. You get to be back on the field once you've just taken care of everything, around your injury. So I'm just happy to see him back, and just wish the best for him, honestly.
Nice, man. All right, so getting to Hugh as a homegrown player, as a native Coloradan, you were born in Denver, raised in Green Valley Ranch, correct?
I was born in the Bronx, New York. Yeah,
my bad.
And then raised in like, I've moved around a bit. I've moved around in like Aurora, a little bit of a Denver area, but kind of very close to Aurora, and then like Green Valley, like at the end. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah. I apologize for having my research wrong. So when did you move to Colorado?
Oh, man, I was a baby, so
okay.
I don't remember too much about,
So given the time that you spent just in the local community, like, how do you feel about Denver on whole? Like, what the stuff to do around here is? What do you show new guys when they come into the team?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, just let them know it's more of like a chill city. It's not your Miami or New York or anything, but like, yeah, just like, I'm more of like in the city kind of guy. Like, I'm not like Cole. He grew up in like Littleton and guys around like Denver, like the inner city. But yeah, I kind of grew up around the city. So, I mean, like, I know kind of ways around it, like places to hang out and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Do you ever like rib Cole and Sam? Because I know, like, growing up in Maryland, people be like, I'm from Baltimore, and they're like, no, you're from Baltimore County. Towson doesn't count.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that same sort of rivalry?
Not really, no. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, we're all happy we're from just one state, and then we're just doing our thing. So honestly, we're not no beefing going around here. So
you were just really not going to let me create any beef with the players today. Okay.
Nah, I can't do that.
All right. So as a fellow middle child, you have an older brother and younger sister?
Yep.
All right. Middle children are the most well-adjusted, right? Can you stand by that?
Absolutely. That's a fact.
Can you talk about how your brother and sister kind of forced you into that well-adjustment role growing up?
Man, I mean, they made it pretty easy on me. I mean, cause like, here's the thing, my brother and my sister, they're like much calmer and quiet than me. Like, I'm the only one that's like really like super outgoing. So like, yeah, those two like they were easier on my parents, so my parents were just looking at me a lot. So so it was just that kind of thing. So yeah.
Wait, how were you hard on your parents? Were you just pretty much playing soccer all the time?
I was playing soccer in the house, like just always active and stuff like that, and yeah, talk a lot. So
Nice. Are both your siblings still in the area?
yeah.
Are they going to be out there Saturday watching the game?
My brother is for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll get a little bit closer to the soccer stuff of it. I wanted to talk a little bit about your pregame rituals. I know that you, Calvin, Big Mike, a lot of you guys go get haircuts from Ronnie, right?
Yep. That's right.
Who started that? Who found Ronnie? Do you guys go together? And is the haircut game effect real?
Oh man, it might have been Mike. I don't want to be mistaken. It might have been Mike, but yeah, I mean, like, there's been days where like I'll get a haircut on just game day and just, like I feel good, play good, like, just taking care of yourself and making sure you look good, you feel good, you play good. So I think for me that's something.
Now, I'll put you on the spot because I've reached out to Ronnie about this because I know a few of you guys go there. I talked to him about doing like a barbershop style interview where all you guys sit down in the chairs and Ronnie interviews you for the show. You down for that?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to hit him up for sure. See when the shop is like just more open and stuff. But yeah.
I know it's a sacred space. I don't want to get in the way of the haircut, but I figure like getting you guys all together maybe in the off season when you're all in town and just kind of getting to shoot the shit, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So other pregame rituals. We've talked with other players this season about like what time they eat, what they eat before the game. I know Josh likes to go to the same Thai place. I know Keegan said he doesn't like to eat past 3 on Friday nights. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Hey man, you're the one that shares the locker room or the flights with him.
I didn't know he ate Thai before games. I did not know that. So I mean, like on the game day, I just wake up, get a big breakfast. Like I'll eat pancakes. Might have some like a little bit of eggs and bacon. And then for lunch, like I'll do like probably like pasta. Just to get some like carbs going and like chicken with it. And then like pre-match, I think I'll eat around like maybe like if the game's at night, I'll eat around maybe like 3:30, 45-ish, like around there. And then I'll eat like this it's like toast with like peanut butter, banana, and honey.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just what I do. So
all right.
That's yeah.
And then how do you get into the headspace? Are you trying to think as little about the game until you get to the stadium as possible?
Yeah. I'm just like chilling, like watching maybe if there's some college football, maybe there's another soccer game, like a Premier League game. But yeah, just watching that, just enjoying the moment. And then once I get closer and closer to the game, I start to think about it a bit and then block in and I'm ready to go. So
you have a college football team that you particularly follow?
Nah, not really. I mean, like, I guess I'd have to go for like Colorado, but I mean, I just love watching like just the bigger games and like just a lot of teams. So I just focus on like just the prospects pretty much, like the just really good college prospects I like watching. So yeah.
Nice. And then when you get to the game, I know the fans always see that first like parking lot entrance photo or video that the team puts up of the fits, but like walk us through that process. You pull up to the stadium a few hours ahead of game time. What's that look like getting ready for the game once you're at Dick's Sporting Goods Park?
Like just like once I walk in?
Yeah, once you get to the stadium, what's the process like?
So what I do is just like I just get there, walk in, I change. If maybe let's say a coach has video for me, I watch some video, but yeah, I kind of like get with a group of guys and talk to our chaplain before the game and stuff, get that going, and then yeah, just from there, just activation, getting the body going, and then starting warm-ups. So
now, in past interviews, we were told that Kevin typically handled the music in the locker room.
Yes.
Kevin's handling the music for the locker room back in France now. So who got the aux cable?
I've heard a bit of like I think Calvin's been, on the speaker, and then like I've heard some of Rob's like he has like some house music going. Calvin has like Afro beats, like some, sometimes hip hop. I've heard some country. I don't know who's playing the country. I don't remember, but I heard some country going. So yeah, we have a variety in the locker room now. But I think it's been like Calvin and Rob playing the music mostly. So
Has Chris ever put the music on? You ever like coach to it?
oh no, I probably wouldn't want to hear that. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to. I don't know what he possibly listens to. I had
Oh,
no
go on,
clue.
take a guess. What do you think Chris Armas is putting on? Maybe some Bruce
Man.
Springsteen, some Born to Run?
I don't know. I have no clue what he could possibly do. That's a great question to ask, though. I'm gonna probably ask him tomorrow.
We're gonna see if we could do that for one of the playoff games this season. The coaches pick the playlist, and you guys just get to like thumbs up, thumbs down it.
Oh yeah, I would do that for sure. I would do that for sure.
All right. So you talk to the chaplain, and then coach is running you through kind of the game plan.
Yeah,
Keegan brings everyone in together. What's that like?
yeah. So like I forgot to mention, we have like a pregame meeting. So like usually we have a pregame meeting, and then we just go through just like reminders for the game, because we do video like all throughout the week, but it's just to get us going. Final words from the coach before warm up. And then when we come back from warm up is when we get the final words from whoever the captain is on that game day. So whether it's Keegan, Maxu, Zach, just kind of the leaders, just having that last word, and then we're good to go.
I wanted to ask you about Max been wearing the captain's armband for kind of the latter part of the season. I believe in an interview, he said something along the lines of he felt it was the time to kind of raise his voice or raise his leadership in the locker room. Did you see that? Was that kind of like a market change? Was it filling a void? Like what was the impetus behind Maxu kind of stepping into that role?
Yeah, I mean, for Maxu, I mean, automatically just the first time he even got here, I noticed he was a leader. And yeah, I mean, like during these times, you have to like, it's not just Maxu as a leader, but everyone has to step up. So that's one thing. And but Maxu, I mean, he leads by in every single way with his voice, excuse me, and just the way he puts in the work. 'Cause like we see it every day as young guys, or just in general, just as a teammate, and you just respect it so much, and it just makes you want to just work hard and put in that work.
Now, just keep it on the pregame side of things. You've put on 3 different jerseys this season. We've got the green OG kit, we've got the new Headwaters kit, and then we've got the current home one flag kit. Which of those 3 is your favorite?
Oof, wow. I like the green kit. Yeah, I like the
Yeah?
OG kit. I do like the Headwaters too. It was between them two. I like the one flag, of course, but yeah, I'd have to pick the green one for sure. I like the OG look for sure, and the old numbers in the back is just dope. So
Nice. All right, now I really will try to start something here. I know that you're not quite old enough for it, but you've been around. Your view on the Rapids old branding with the green, the blue, the gold versus the new branding with the burgundy and the blue and kind of the shield.
mm. Oh man, I can't. I mean, I've only been around with the new, so I mean, I've liked it growing up, so I mean, I have no issue with it. But it'd be cool to like, just from now and then, like, just bringing back the OG look, and like, for sure, I'm fully for that.
Nice. All right, so I want to talk about, before we get into your season, a season you've had in the past. So you played in the 2023 MLS Next Pro playoffs with Rapids 2, correct?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that playoff run and what it's like being a member of that team?
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very good team. We were unfortunate not to win the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, those games, I think you can just see like with regular season and playoffs is just a different type of intensity, and you either have to be ready or just stay home, kind of thing. So just experiencing that, just it was important. So then like in the MLS playoffs, I have that going forward, just knowing that I have to take it up a notch in terms of intensity and all that, because it's a real thing. So for sure.
I know you were the first team, and I know some of the R2 and the academy guys train with the first team. Do you keep a good bit of relationships, camaraderie with the guys on that squad currently?
Yeah, I mean, I try my best to, especially like when they're training. I try to like give as much as what I know and what I've learned to them, because I remember my first couple training sessions. Cole did that for me. I don't think Vindsy was there. I think he was at January camp or something. But yeah, Cole was just doing that for me, just giving me just advice here and there, like what to do as a young player and stuff like that. So I try to do that as much as I can, because it means a lot, and it can help them in the long run.
So then what sort of advice are you giving the guys heading into Sunday for this first playoff match against Vancouver Whitecaps too?
I mean, I would just say the same thing I told you. Like, in a playoffs game, you have to mentally and physically be prepared, because that intensity is a real thing. You're gonna see it from the first minute, like first second, even like the pressure, the balls that you have to win in the air, just your duels in general. So I would just tell them just to be ready mentally for that, and obviously go do their thing. They've been playing soccer for a long time. They know what to do up to now, but in terms of just that intensity, getting ready for playoffs, that's what I would tell them.
Now we've talked to you a little bit. I've talked to you this season about learning things from Hoffa and kind of growing out your game this season. Have you had any experiences kind of paying that forward with Alex Harris or Bilo Giap or Sid Wathuda?
Yeah, I mean, like when those guys are just around, like again, I try my best to just like give them as much advice. But I think just as far as like just Bilo, I haven't been around Bilo too much, but I've been with him here and there, just to give him like like kind of more tactical advice to help out some coaches, and just Sydney and Alex. I mean, I can't tell them too much. Like, I'm not much older than them, but like those, I think the older guys help them much more. But I can't tell them too much, except like just go do your thing. And those two are two great players, so they'll know what to do in the moment for sure.
Nice. All right. Well, I want to talk about the season you've had so far. By all metrics, you're having a breakout year. You can check me on these stats, but I've got listed 16 games started, 1,300 plus minutes played, 7 goals, 2 assists. I mean, I feel like the Yapi hype train left the station years ago, but this season it's really picked up speed. Can you walk us through kind of the process and the feeling of getting to the point where you're putting up numbers like that?
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I always saw it as like every year I was just getting better. Obviously, like some people might have not have seen that, right away. They want to see like, the results. But the only thing I was just telling myself every year is just get better every year, and I've seen that statistically, like as the years have gone by. So yeah, I mean that was just the most important thing, and I knew that this season was gonna happen, because like again, I was ready, and then I just know I'm getting better every day. So this breakout season was eventually gonna happen, but it was just a matter of time and patience as well.
Now, Coach Chris Armas has mentioned before talking to you and having you say things like, "Coach, like I'm not scoring yet," and him just being like, "It's going to come. It's going to come." Now that it is happening, when you're on the field, does it feel like the game's slowing down? You've put yourself in better positions, or just the shot tends to fall your way more often than not?
I think past experiences have helped me for sure, because when I was going through a goal drought, I would just constantly get frustrated and frustrated. But now when I'm like, let's say I've gone a few weeks without a goal, like I just stay calm, because I know that I can score goals. I know that the next chance I can get, I can bag it. So I just stay more calm, and instead of just having that frustration from when I was younger, and which can lead to like months without scoring. So I just stay calm, and I know that just to keep working and training, keep working on finishing, and you're gonna get a chance, and you're gonna have to score it. So
All right. Talk about that goal you almost scored against Salt Lake this past weekend. The kind
yeah.
of the back heel, the flick, the put the ball on its way. I was so, not just for the result, so upset that didn't go in, because I thought that would have been a goal of the year candidate. What's going through your mind on that one?
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously down 1-0, fighting for playoffs. And, in those moments, I just had to gamble and crash it in near post. And, it felt nice. It was a little behind me, so I had to adjust. And to be honest with the hard sell keeper, he did really, really well. I don't know how he saved that. And even the rebound I tried to get after, and he just slaps it out of bounds. It was just a crazy moment. Like, it was just crazy chances after chances at the end. So yeah.
Nice. And then the team is going through a bit of a goal shortage right now. How do you guys feel in the attacking room about, because you've had a lot of chances and a lot of really good saves, to be perfectly honest, on the shots that the team is putting in. How are you guys viewing, or how do you feel internally about those goals not hitting the net? And like, what are you talking to with your teammates about how to get over that hump?
I mean, I think like games like that against RSL, like when you just have chance after chance and like sometimes it's just not falling. I think it's a part of the game. And I just think that we just all have to keep working, stay together, and just keep calm, because we all have the quality to put the ball in the back of the net. And um, you know, uh, I know it's been difficult, but we just have to just stay calm and trust ourselves and in the moment. And I think we have the guys to do so.
Now, you and I have talked about this a little bit in some of the training availability, the post games, but you've kind of been deployed all over the front three and even a little bit kind of that false nine. What sort of position do you ideally see yourself playing on the field?
I mean, growing up in the academy, I mean, I've played winger, I've played the nine, I've played a lot of striker since I've been a professional. So I mean, that's the position. That's my, like, obviously my main position. But I try to be as versatile as possible. Because you never know, like, what situation you're in, and it's always good to have just multiple positions, and so you can just get out there on the field and help the team.
Fans talk a lot about, obviously, like how they would line up the team, and a common refrain that I hear is loving it when you and Hoffa are up top next to each other. What sort of how does the game open up for you guys when you two are kind of playing right next to each other at the top?
I mean, I think honestly, like, when he's coming underneath, just knowing that, or when one of us are coming underneath, we just know that one of us is just gonna be crashing the box, and that's like automatic instinct from strikers. And it's good to have just like two, maybe three guys, extra guys in the box, from crosses and stuff like that, which can lead to more goals. So I think it's good when we've been together, and it's good when we've tried other stuff as well.
Another thing we've seen this season is kind of a little bit of uncertainty at the left wing. You've played left wing. Cole's been playing left recently. I think we saw Ali Laraz have like an amazing left wing game the second week of the season. What formationally are you guys asked to do as the forwards? And I guess in Cole and Ali's um, respect as midfielders to kind of get up into those left and right wing spaces?
I mean, in those situations, I think the coaches just do a good job of just helping guys out, like, just get clarity and understand what you're supposed to do, like, in the position that you're playing. I don't think I've been an inverted winger like in a 3-4-3 against Minnesota, but them giving me the clarity of where to be, when to be, and all that stuff, it helps. So I think just the coaches just giving you that clarity of what to do during the game, like, helps when you're like being thrown in a kind of a new or a position where you just don't understand. So.
No, we haven't gotten to see much from Alexis Manyoma yet so far. I've seen him at training. What sort of kind of vibes on the pitch and off the pitch are you getting from Alexi?
I mean, he's been like, still quiet. He doesn't know too much English, but he seems like a really good guy, and he's got a lot of pace. And I like the way he plays. He's a direct winger, of course. Kind of like he's like a short Colombian. He reminds me of like a Mikey Barrios. I've had my fair share of short Colombians, so So yeah, just like a pacey guy that's very direct, and we're excited to have him here. But obviously he's still been just slowly getting with the group and learning some English little by little. But yeah, we're happy to have him.
Nice. And then kind of with regard to that, Rafa Santos coming in the transfer window has seemed like a really big offensive spark coming at that left side and really delivering balls to you, to Rafa, to the guys at the top of the formation. What's that been like having him in the fold?
Yeah, I mean it's good. He's got a really good left foot, and he's got good service. We've seen him in the set pieces, like on corners and wide free kicks, like just and his free kick as well that he scored. And just having a guy with a really good left foot just helps us a lot. So yeah.
All right. So since you talked about set pieces, we'll go to a dead ball situation. We've seen many different penalty takers this season. You step up to the spot. Where are you hitting the ball?
Where am I hitting the ball?
Yeah.
Wherever I need to.
Ooh, good answer. All right. All
Where I
right.
need
Yeah.
to.
Let's not give out any tactical
Yeah,
information.
that's right.
That's fair. You maybe any Panenka in the future? Did you see when Messi tried that against Kalina and Charlotte, and Kalina just kind of stood there?
I've got to take a lot of penalties before I think I try that.
All right.
Yeah. Let me just take a lot, and then I'll try that for sure.
All right. So we talked about some of the stats you put up on the field this year, but I wanted to just say from firsthand experience, watching you at training, watching you at games, watching you interact with the guys, it seems like you've also really kind of come into your own personality wise, more vocal. I see you. I mean, today you were just walking up and down with Hoffa the whole time, which I'm pretty excited for what you guys are going to do in this game against LAFC. But how much of a sense do you feel like just at 20 years old, you're becoming a voice in this team? And how long before Darren Yapi's wearing the captain's armband?
Oh man, it was kind of weird when I heard one of the assistant coaches like telling me like, "Oh yeah, start like being vocal and start being a leader," and it's like it felt weird. It felt like just something so new, like, and I'm still obviously kind of trying to work on that and try to use my voice more. And even guys like Zach telling me like, tell the guys like use your voice, and it's still like really really new to me. I've never really done that, and I'm still gonna make my way and get better at it for sure.
Well, I have to imagine that as vocal as he is right now, someone eventually early on in the road told Zach Steffen to use his voice. So there's still a lot of loudness you've got ahead of you.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right. So put the season into perspective for us. You're going into LAFC. You started the season against LAFC in one of the coldest games on record. You guys have left yourselves no room for error. You can control your own destiny a little bit with a win. You need some other results, but like, how are you viewing going in against a team you've been really good against at home?
Yeah, I mean we're we have to just again mentally be prepared, because we're fighting for a playoff spot, and RSL and Dallas have to do what they have to do. But if we just focus on ourselves and focus on this game and take care of what we need to take care of, by the end of the game we'll see where that takes us, and that's all we have to focus on, and just on us and what we have in store for this game on Saturday, just being mentally and physically prepared for that.
All right. All right. That seemed like a pretty safe answer. How are you viewing Boanga and their new prize piece Son as a fellow attacker?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see them too, just, scoring goals in the league, and those guys are just great, great players. They're amazing players. You can always learn from, not only just, for me that I look up to is Rafa, but guys around the league, you can always pick up something from them and stuff like that. So, they're a fun team, with Sun and Bouanga and yeah, I mean, those guys are dangerous, but we still have a job to do.
That's since you talked about that, U.S. men's national team is in town. You obviously talked to other guys in the MLS. what players kind of in your age group or just above are you looking at and kind of taking bits and pieces of their games, how they conduct themselves, kind of like role models, but not just typically like your classic vet role models, like guys closer to your age?
I mean, like I've gone to, the U20 World Cup with some of those players. Like, I think Owen Wolf is doing like really well right now. I think he's a superb player. Obviously, Quinn Sullivan before, obviously, sadly, tore his ACL. But he was doing amazing. I thought he was doing really well. Just to see those guys like my age even doing well, like it's not only just inspiring, but you can always want to try to be number one, and I think that's a cool thing, and even the guys that are just slightly older than me, like just like the Lunas, the McGlynn, stuff like that, even Paxton coming in, like just being around him is it's pretty special, knowing that he's come from, a different experience and stuff like that. These are guys you can always learn from just watching them or just even being around them. So
Did you? I know they've since been unfortunately knocked out by Morocco, but did you talk to Adam and to Noah ahead of heading down to Chile for their U20 World Cup?
yeah, I spoke to Adam a bit, on the phone and stuff like that. So just before his games, but I just told him just to go out there and just enjoy and do he just knows what to do. He's such a good kid. Yeah. So I was just telling him stuff like that, and I was just happy for him to have that, experience, of, playing every game. I didn't have that going to the World Cup, but I think it's special having Adam having played every single week or every single game in the World Cup, and like whether you make mistakes or whether you do well, that's like such a good experience to take with you and just grow from. So that's something that's really good for him.
Is there a sense among your age group? I think it was earlier in the season, you guys were joking about which class was the best from Rapids Academy.
Oh yeah.
Is there a sense amongst your age group kind of on whole here in the US about like you guys are the next thing about to happen, like talking about that, like linking up with each other?
Not really. I mean, I think right now we're just in the phase of just like focusing on just like just getting better, and then maybe eventually that could be a conversation, who knows? But just right now I think we're in the phase of just getting better, getting more experience, and yeah, just stuff like that I think we're just focused on right now.
All right. Well, it seems the word on you has gotten out to your fellow players, the league, because you got named number 20 on the 22 for 22 list. What does that mean for you in terms of kind of validation for everything you've just told us about in your work process and also inspiration to keep working?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool list to be on. To be on a list with a lot of guys that are just young and in this league, and yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful to be on there, and again, like I said, just to keep working because the more I work, the more the results can show eventually, at least. And yeah, I mean, that's just a testament of it. So
All right. So make a big playoff run. That's cool. Let's just put 2025 aside for a second. 2026, Darren Yapi. If you have the chance to get to 10 goal contributions this season, next game, get an assist, a goal. What sort of goals have you set for yourself for next season? Are you looking that far ahead?
not yet, not quite. I still want to like finish the season out strong, with this team for sure. And yeah, just focus on what's at store this next LAFC game. Just like really what's on my head. I think this year I was looking for 10 goal contributions, but you know, yeah, now it's just like, okay, I've done well this year, but it's just like, just to get the results with the team.
Well, you're going to get 10, no doubt. You're going to get a goal contribution this Saturday. Who knows, maybe 11 or 12 by the
Who
end of
knows?
Saturday night, you know?
Who knows? Yeah, who
I think
knows?
everyone would be pretty stoked for that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And then one random question I have for you. I've seen a lot of players that come up through the academy change their number when they get to the first team or it becomes open. You staying with 77, Jackson staying with 99. Is that something that you think you're just going to stick with the entire time?
This was a question I got not too long ago. I have no clue if I want to change or not. So I can't give you an answer on that quite yet, but I guess you just gotta wait and see. So yeah. I mean, I might, but like the 77 does look cool right now. So
It looks really cool, man.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the jerseys I see most around the stadium every game day. So almost feels hard to change it at this point.
Yeah,
But I figured
at this
I'd
point,
ask.
yeah, for sure.
Nice. Well, that's all I've got for you. Again, congratulations on a breakout year. I think this 22 under 22 list nomination is really a cool nod to what we've all had the privilege of seeing you do here in Colorado, that now other people are recognizing that and getting to see that on a larger stage. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to get out there?
No, I mean just want the fans to just come out Saturday night and support us, because it's gonna be a good dog fight and a good push for these playoffs for sure. So
Awesome. Well, everyone, that's Darren Yapi, number 20 on the 22 for 22 under 20. I'm never going to say that right. Maybe next year when you make it as well. I really appreciate your time, Darren, and we'll see you out there Saturday.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'll keep working with Ronnie about getting that barbershop interview.
All right,
on the
for
books.
sure. All right, thank you so much.
All right, guys. Again, just so stoked to have Darren on. I think he is just such a remarkable face for this franchise, and I look forward to us getting set up with that barbershop interview that we've got him on record for being up for now. So we just need to talk to Calvin, Big Mike, and get Ronnie and the shop scheduled down to make that happen. Hopefully this off season. Sara, speaking of fantasies.
Well, yeah, let's move into our fantasy segment. We are here in the middle of a triple game week, so to speak. So if folks are following along, you'll know that LAFC has already played 2 games in this fantasy cycle, and all other double game week teams have also played their first leg of the fantasy week, meaning that all those players are locked. And hopefully, if you're playing a competitive game, you're on top of that. We'll talk more about that in a sec. Hopefully you're on top of that. We're able to get into some really good games. I think some predictable outcomes. So, but if you have not, there are still plenty. You can adjust any of the single game week players that you have either on your field or bench, and there's a lot to look into. So teams like San Diego, Minnesota, and of course the Colorado Rapids still have plenty of options for this coming weekend. And if you want to have some fun with it, you can go bet on St. Louis at home against the number 1 enemy of Lucifer, fake Salt Lake. So if you put some of those players in, you'll have the joy of succeeding at fantasy and also watching Salt Lake playoff streams die, as we all hope this weekend goes. So far, I tell you, hopefully you've made great decisions, but I have not. I did mess up some of my early lineups, as we talked about a little bit last week, but I definitely played some folks who are away on international duty. So Matt is well poised to give me a run for my money. Although the one good decision I have, or strong decision I've made, was to captain Leo Messi. And Matt, I noticed you did too. Are you finally accepting this Miami Vice?
No, absolutely not. Of all the vices that I have, it's not a Miami one, and I will not accept that. Even if acceptance is the first step, I will.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job at predicting some of my likely plays. I was really excited to see Alba show up well, and I don't know that that is a player that you have actually played much this season. And I saw that both him and Mueller are on your team. So 2 places where I thought maybe I would get a leg up on you, you kept up in pace.
All I know is that Matt's morals don't mean anything, because he spent the whole season talking about how Messi's slop and shouldn't play Messi and blah, blah, blah. And this is now the second time this season that I remember of him putting him in, and it's when the chips are on the line. He knows the truth is the fact. Like, we've been telling him Messi's the way to go, and he's been saying, no, I don't need it. But then when he needs to, There's Messi in his lineup. Not even just in his lineup, captained in his lineup.
Honestly, I respect the play because at least we're now finally all speaking the same language, which is that we all know at the end of the day, winning is all that matters in this fantasy game. And we're going to win. We'll see who wins. I made some really silly choices, and if Matt wins, it's because he was much more diligent this round for sure. But I am curious. So I put Painsil in and did not catch that Painsil is out right now, but he should play their last game. And I also have Son and Bouanga on my on my forwards locked in, didn't play the first 2 games. So I think that there could be some wild points that come through on what were weird decisions on my part. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out. Matt's feeling good going into the weekend.
Kevin's revenge is what I think I'm going to call it. So,
yeah, well, let's go ahead and take a second and look at this coming week. Obviously, like we mentioned, if you're looking to adjust your fantasy game, you might be a little late to the game this round, but you can look at those single game week players. But we also have some really big games coming up that could impact the playoff possibilities of the team. So what games are folks looking at for this coming weekend? We need 2 to lose and a draw, essentially. 2 of the 3 to lose. And at least a draw. I think in pure high drama mode, all 3 of those games kick off at the same time. So it's going to be one of those in the fans, watching your phone, keeping up with how other games are going, could change by the moment whether we're in or out based on who's up and who's down. So it should be high drama going into the weekend. My eyes are on the West, the Eastern Conference. While it's fun, I just feel like I'm more aware of the West Coast, and also it feels more high stakes because so many of the games impact the next steps for the Rapids. So I'm with you. It's going to be those 7:00 games I have my eyes on. Those cards in that Dallas game were kind of wild. I watched it, and also like Dallas didn't look bad, but I just don't know how they make up for not having those 2 players and away at Vancouver. Honestly, and I also think St. Louis for Salt Lake is a hard stadium to go into with that much on the line. So I'm really, really hoping that both of those home teams can do us a solid. Well, only time will tell. Should we move on to
the game this weekend, decision day for us, LAFC. Oh my God. Why do we need this kind of stress in our life? We couldn't have done something mid-season. Like, I don't need this kind of stress in my life. I am getting too old to have this kind of palpitations.
This is the most exciting thing that's happened at the Dick since they changed out the beer lineup. You kidding me? All right. Well, hydrate up, everybody, because it's decision day. And in pure Rapids fashion, everything is coming down to the wire. Rapids are playing LAFC this coming Saturday at home at the Dick. Now, a note, we said it earlier, but our game started at 7. We got used to the 7:30 start time, so just put it on your calendar as 7 and make sure you get there 30 minutes ahead of your normal schedule. And, after an exciting weekend, most of the chips fell in our favor. We had Dallas and Salt Lake both losing their games, and that means that there are 3 points that sit between 8th and 11th place. We've got 4 teams fighting over 2 playoff spots. That's Dallas, San Jose, Salt Lake, and of course your Colorado Rapids. So a lot riding on this game. It's going to be exciting. It's not the place we wanted to be in, but it's where we live. What are y'all feeling?
Here's the struggle. As great as what happened this last weekend for us we still have to get a result against LAFC. That has not changed. So we have to, at minimum, get a draw, and even then it's going to require what's going on. And even with a win, it depends on what's going on. We're not automatically in with a win either, but at minimum, to even have an opportunity is a draw. And this is an LAFC that beat Salt Lake 4-1 twice in 1 week, who we just lost to 1-0. So, it's scary. It's a scary spot. They're sitting in 3rd with 59 points, 17, 8, and 8. The positive of that is that they were really strong at home, and on the road, they're only 6-4 and 6. So they don't seem to be as good on the road. That could be helpful for us. They have 63 goals for and 38 against. Whew. They're coming off of a 0-1 loss against Austin, while the Rapids are sitting in 10th with 40 points at 11-14-7 with an 8-5-3 home record. Goals for 42 and against 54. The last time we played LA was in July, and we lost 3-0 all in LA. I'm hoping. I want to see us make the playoffs. This is a really good team coming into the deck, and I think that they aren't benching anybody. I see them coming at us and coming at us hard, and we've seemed to be struggling quite a bit, especially defensively recently, and I don't know. They got a lot of scoring power. They got a guy going for the golden boot. I don't know. What do you think, Fitouri?
I'm curious why you kicked Matt off this podcast.
I didn't want to hear his Messi slander anymore.
Was he sending you Bouwanga's son shipping videos? No, we're not sure where Matt came, but hopefully he'll be able to jump back on. I don't feel good. I think that the time to win our playoff seat passed. It passed in a loss to DC or a draw to DC, a loss to DC, a loss to Galaxy, a loss to Salt Lake, like a loss to Sporting Kansas City. Like our opportunity to have a post-game season, I think, is past. And I think that this is now living on a hope and a prayer.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because of how close we are right now, right? With all the games we had that we were talking about mid-season where we were playing against terrible teams, and all we needed was literally one result out of any of those. It's not even that we had to do really well in any of those games. We just needed one result, and we'd be sitting in a spot where we're fine. You get one win out of those, which we should have won multiple of them. This isn't even a question anymore.
We should have been sitting at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We should have been disappointed that we don't start home in the playoffs. Not that we're having to maybe by a prayer get a play-in game.
This seems to be a consistent thing with us is late in the season, we struggle. It's always something like we talked about in the pod at the beginning of the season that I was saying, we have to have a strong start because we don't seem to finish very strong. And it's kind of crazy to me because we train at altitude. And training at altitude means that like we should be a little bit more fit, a little bit more. We should be able to do those last 10 minutes of a game and get the wins. And we're not able to do that. We should be more fit to be able to last through the season, but we just don't have a strong enough bench. Seems to be the problem. Like we don't have the players that we can throw in to play 60 minutes more often that
Absolutely.
can keep us getting points.
I think here it's luck of the draw and the way the international break worked. Frankly, like we didn't see a very strong LAFC against Austin without Bouanga and Son, but they're coming back. And so like I wish we would have gotten to play this game without their superstars, but it's just a different team when you put that caliber of player on the field. And they're cute, damn it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have accepted defeat here and will be thrilled if I get to watch a playoff game. But I just, that moment's passed in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely, even if we make it a playoff game, like I'm going to be really excited. But the season still feels like we could have been just better overall and in a better situation. And that just kind of feels bad. It's one of those kind of just feels bad moments where you're just sitting there going, well, we shouldn't have had to been fighting at this point. We should have been one of those top tier teams, and we've just continued to struggle towards the end of the season. And even if you make the playoffs, we don't have good record winning in the playoffs. And I feel like this team is, I don't know, are we in playoff form if we do make the playoffs? More than likely not, like, because we're going to have to go up against a strong opponent. Right? Assuming if we end up the wild card obviously is just, it's two lower teams playing against each other. But like after that, it's going to be a top table team. And I don't think we're a top table team and we're playing on the road.
I totally agree. And the teams that we're currently vying for spots with are teams that have been moving their way up the table. So they're teams that have started low and were like building up and are now in maybe some of their better form over the year, we are only as high up on this table as we were because of the beginning of our season. We've been steadily dropping since the second half of the season. So I think that we are actually like overplaced based on our current form. So many of the teams that we're going to go against, haven't had that droppage down the table that we've been experiencing over the last 2-3 months.
Oh yeah, is it possible to make a run out of one good performance against LAFC? Possibly, but more than likely, we're just not in the right form for this. Our team doesn't seem to be messing. There's not like a lot of chemistry running. There's not a lot of high energy. If I'm a player, I'm sitting in there going, I'm more anxious than anything because we haven't been performing. Even our top tier players haven't really been performing and on their best foot, it seems. So.
I'm looking this up to make sure I get it right, but if you look at our fixtures, we really also haven't had any momentum. We've had in this like last half, we've had like one-off wins here and there. So like there's not a lot to make me believe that if we can pull this off against LAFC, that we can follow it up with back-to-back wins. We can have a moment of brilliance. I don't know that we can have a streak. Matt, we've been all doom and gloom. Now that it looks like you're back, do you want to bring the optimism?
Hey guys, I think I'm back. Can you see me?
Is that you,
Matt? You take off your camo first?
I got really worried. I got sent to the same place we sent Monk earlier this season. And like, I'm a little claustrophobic. So from what I gather, you need me to be the ray of sunshine that I always am?
Yeah. Yeah. The lack of facts or real logic behind it just.
Yeah. So, all right, getting into my make-believe section. This one goes to Alejandro, because I'm about to put some positivity on this bitch. First off, let's talk about what LAFC does at the Dick. Everyone talks about what LAFC does anywhere else in the MLS, but what they do at the Dick is they lose. Their history here at Elevation, at the Phallus Palace, at your Dick's Good Sportings Park, is that they have only won once. They have lost 5 times, and they have drawn once. So if anything, history states that their inability to climb the mountain, to buy the ticket, to play the game, is going to stand in the Rapids' favor.
Is that because of the altitude, though?
I think because they're used to drinking LA river water. So when they get that cool, crisp Colorado tap, like their system just revolts against the purity and like the majesty of that mineral water. They don't have the ability to produce it.
They're so used to downstream water, they don't know what that like fresh snow runoff tastes like.
I think this is probably a long con. We told them about the original Chubbies back in 2018. So now every time they come into town, they stop right there on 38th Avenue and they get Original Chubbies. Shout out Original Chubbies. Best food ever, but not if you're about to play a soccer match. So I think that's what's happening. And they're getting, like bubble gut, like right around like the 15th minute of the game. And honestly, they're probably not listening to this, so they won't know to change up the order. So we've got that they have no history of winning at the Dick. We've got that they'll have bubble gut from the Original Chubbies. I think we're going to see an issue of Denny Bouanga, quote unquote, doing too much, as the kids say. He's 2 goals behind Lionel Messi in the Golden Boot race, and he really wants it. So I think we could see a one-dimensional LAFC attack, especially with how kind of magnanimous Son and Bouanga have been towards each other's goals. I think Son's going to be trying to help Bouanga. So those shots where he might have a sure goal, he's going to pass it off to his boy, and Reggie's going to have the clamps on him. I also think that from being at training today, from talking to these guys, they realize the games that they left on the table. And instead of just being kind of remorseful about that, they realize that the chips fell in their favor this past weekend, and they have one last shot to get in there and get it done in front of a home crowd. And I think they're going to be imbued with both a bit of confidence and a bit of like belief that they were put in this game for this game to matter and for them to end their regular season the same way they started the season on February 18th, and that's beating LAFC. Was that positive enough for you guys?
You almost have me believing.
I mean, if anything, Ted KDP is either going to start or enter the game and go complete YOLO ball and put the team on his back. Like, you saw what happened within, 20 seconds of him coming on versus RSL? If we just make the whole game out of first 20 seconds KDP.
Love it. I hope it's there.
I hope you're right. Our defense has let people walk into the 18 with no mark, and my biggest worry is we're just going to leave him wide open. You don't even have to put in like a good shot. He's just going to be left wide open because we didn't mark him.
I want you to be right. We have not played against this LAFC. And
I mean, this LAFC is just one player different. Reggie has put the clamps on Boanga before.
I'd be curious other people's takes. I don't think that I am like always someone who's like the sum is greater than the parts or whatever. They are not just one player different. The dynamic with the two of them is wild. And it's really hard when you have two incredibly threatening players on a defense to have to mark two folks. Like before, we knew where the goals were coming from. You shut down Boanga, great. This is a hard duo to stop.
Yeah, it's like when we had Georgie and Navajo. Remember we had a duo that would score together some?
Yeah, but my other bit of positivity is going to be when have the Rapids played their worst against the worst teams? When have the Rapids played their best against the best teams?
It would be really scary if we were playing Galaxy this weekend.
I'm glad
this is the LA we have.
Yeah, we play to our opponents, especially at home. And so I think a result, I have faith. I told Chris today, I talked to Darren, I talked to Keegan. I think it happens. I think this is not the last game for the Rapids this season. And beating a Sun and Boanga tandem for LAFC in your last match of the season is just the type of stuff that makes those magical playoff runs happen, that can carry a team's fortunes and attitude into a different postseason look.
I hope you're right, because even if we win this, we talked a little bit about, you were having some technical difficulties. Making it in the playoffs, we have struggled doing anything in the playoffs in the last decade. And so even if we win this one, we don't seem to be on the best form. And what do we do when we play in the wild card match or then have to go on the road against the top seed team?
Well, that's a good point. So the highest we can get is 8th. Let's game this out. If things fall our way, we can host a play-in match in 8th place, and we will likely be playing Dallas or Salt Lake. I'm way more scared of Dallas than I am of Salt Lake. But I do love the idea of playing them at home. Conversely, we finish in 9th place and we are going to Dallas. And then I'm going to use the kind of law of repeat fixtures in the 2025 Rapids tenure is that we never get the same result twice, which means we beat Dallas at home because we lost to them at home last time. And then we make it out of the playoff game and we get the luxury, or make it out of the play-in game, we get the luxury of playing Vancouver, it looks like, and we already beat Vancouver this season.
Yeah, that was like our last definitive win.
Yeah. So
it was a bit ago.
If we beat LA, I'm just doing the math here. We don't have to face LA again. We don't have to face Portland again immediately, who also is kind of a bogey team for us. Like, we're going into Vancouver or San Diego, and we beat both of those teams, and we're getting a best of 3 series. So beat LA, Rocky Mountain Cup rematch, or Dallas, different result, reverse fixture. Like, there is a discernible fault line that takes us into the first round of the playoffs. BC Place, Dick, BC Place.
I am hopeful that on Sunday morning we wake up in your world.
I mean, I think it's a simulation and you guys wake up in my world every morning, so let's just go with it. The heartbreak scenario, though, is that we have a like world beater win against LAFC and Dallas and RSL do their part and win, and we're still outside looking in. That would be the soul crushing result that could happen, but it's not. So I don't even know why I said it.
Yeah, it would honestly, I would take that because it would be nice for us to do our own part instead of just preying on other teams' outcomes. Yeah. It was really hard this past weekend, not playing and hoping that other teams just do what we need them to do, knowing that we could have gone into this game with no chance.
Yeah, I was like trying to like live tweet it or whatever on Blue Sky, and it was crazy because it was like Dallas goes ahead, RSL goes ahead. I think Dallas's goal was called back because of VAR. RSL's almost got called back for being offside, but then Galaxy just did us the solid and scored the goal anyway. Like those, yeah.
Yeah, it almost didn't happen.
So I think maybe we all go out to the Prairie Dogs before Saturday. We leave a couple offerings, You pray to the old gods and the new, and you trust that Teddy KDP, Rafa Santos's left foot, and Maxu's ability to clear no fewer than 30 balls out of our box with his head all show up.
You left a very important person off the list that we'd need to show up hard.
Rafa Navahu?
2, maybe?
Maybe
Paxton
2
Aronson?
even, yeah.
Both of those?
Yeah.
You're like, and let's just hope that everyone but our superstars do great.
All our superstars don't have to show up. I'm like, okay, that's great. We'll just leave that 12 million sitting there. Just put them on the bench. We don't need them.
This comes down to a Darren Yapi hat trick. Yapi's goal is 10 goal. Yapi's goal for the season was 10 goal contributions. He's currently at 9. So he needs one more. And I told him, why not 12? Let's just go for the full hat trick. So I think Darren Yapi puts the team on his back, Greg Jennings style. And we head into the postseason on a Yapi hour tilt.
We need someone to walk in with Michael's secret stuff. All right.
Who?
Did you never saw Space Jam?
Oh,
Michael's secret stuff. You've got.
Nice
we need
reference.
something that turns our team around in a scenario that we are more than likely looking like we're going to lose, and we're not coming out of any momentum. Like we need someone to fake it and them to believe it.
All right, you hear that, Rapids Stadium crew? We want Jock Jam, Space Jam soundtrack at the Dick on Saturday. We want that to be the pregame music.
Exactly.
What a great
Do we
callback.
dare guess score predictions here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
What you got, Matt? You're the positive one, so let's see. Let's see if it's backed up with actual numbers.
I think
unlike your Messi pick.
Colorado Rapids make it into the playoff game by beating the Los Angeles Football Club. Do they have a nickname? No. By beating the Los Angeles Football Club by a score of 3-1. I think LA gets called out trying to get Boanga his golden boot, and the Rapids get to play a little bit of a one-dimensional attack, and they do the job. They take advantage on the counter, and we get 3 goals. We're getting a goal from KDP, a goal from Yapi, and a goal from Navahu. And I think the one goal that LAFC gets is going to be from Boanga, which is going to reinforce them trying to channel everything through him for the record. And so they'll play high. They won't play that classic low block that every team knows how to beat us with, because they're going to be trying to get their star a trophy.
What about you, Fitouri?
I'm debating between 2 in my head. I'm so sorry. 0-3 loss. And I'm giving it I think Bouanga gets 2, Sun 1. I think that we just cannot find form. And I think, unfortunately, even with that, I think Bouanga loses the Golden Boot by 1 to Messi. Messi will have a game earlier in the day, so Bouanga's 2 behind. He'll probably go into the game at least 3 behind, and I don't think he'll find 3 with us.
So not only are you dooming the Rapids, you're dooming Bouanga, and you're celebrating your little heron in Miami. I see where your allegiance lies.
I want to be really clear.
Messi over everything.
No, I want to be very clear in this West Coast, East Coast showdown between Bouanga and Messi. My heart is with Bouanga, but I just don't see a final game. Messi knows that he's playing before Bouanga. And like, I don't see a game that Messi doesn't get on the board, and that means that we have to see a hat trick here. I think that we're gonna know that Bouanga's the threat because he wants that Golden Boot, and I think he'll get 2 on us. I just don't think he'll get 3. I'm sorry, Walt.
Go ahead.
I owe you the honest truth. I refuse to continue calling a win when I don't see it, and I don't see it.
But she didn't even say not a win. She was like, not a draw, not even like 1-0. She's like, they're just going to beat you into the ground.
I wanted to like use facts to like combat Sara on this one. So I was like, all right, Miami plays Nashville. Let's look up the last time they played Nashville. July 12th. Miami won 2-1. I was like, okay, well, maybe somebody else scored. No, Messi in the 17th and 62nd minute. Come on, Walker Zimmerman. Just like, I don't know, clip his ankle or something.
I guess what is interesting is you also have Surridge in that game, right?
Super Sam Surridge. He's in the race.
Actually, because I didn't look at the most recent lineup, but they all were within 1 or 2 goals of each other. And so you have Surridge at home going against Messi for the Golden Boot. That could just be a showdown.
Yeah, that's a good call. So we've got Lionel Messi with 26 goals, Denis Bouanga with 24, Super Sam Surridge with 23. I mean, what if Joveljic and SKC come out with like an 8-goal thriller? He's at 18. That'd be wild. If
Wait, who's
Surridge
the closest Rapid?
it.
Can we do that? Do we have anybody that's like actually?
Navahu with 12.
So you'd need.
No way, that's not actually that. Oh, the highest Rapid. Sorry, I thought you were going in order.
Yeah, highest Rapid. No.
12. So he needs to get 10. Do you know what? That's what Monk, what's your score prediction? I fucking dare you to say it.
No, he needs to get 11 then.
He needs to get 11. And that's just to catch up.
He needs to get 15. 15
Oh, that's
goals.
right. 20. Ooh, he has to double and then some. I'm not calling that shit.
LA gets 4 red cards in the first 30 minutes, and then Hoffa scores 15 goals.
Oh, man. Damn. Okay, so I'm still going to predict a win because I'm always going to predict a win. I got to have faith in this team. As much as all stats, logic says that we aren't the team to win here, I think that hopefully we watch the score predictions. Matt is correct that LAFC struggles at altitude, and we pull it out and we get the win. Whatever happens after that, we did our part. I'll still be mad if we don't make it. I'm still going to be bad even if we make it because we should have made it much further. But at least we'll have made it, and at least we would have finished with as best as we could after this weekend. I think that I'm going to do the opposite of Fitouri. I'm going to counter her BS us getting destroyed and go with a 3-0. I don't think we can let in a goal because we just don't do well when we let people score. So we have to shut out, or we generally just don't do it. So 3-0, I think. I want to say Yapi. I say Yapi gets one. I believe he's got it. I want to see Aronson get one. And Cole.
All right. That's a good shout because I think, like we talked about last episode, Cole knows he had chances in the last 2 games to salt away a playoff berth. And that's someone who takes this team's trajectory like to his core. Him coming through, that's a good shout.
He needs it. I honestly think he needs it. So we can hope for the best as much as Fitouri just betrayed us again.
I think, all right, here's another side prediction. I think there's going to be at least one red card in this game. Who do you think it goes to?
If you get a red card, are you out for the playoff game? The first playoff game?
What's that?
Yeah.
You get a red card, you're out for the first playoff game, huh?
Oh, I thought they reset for the postseason.
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know either.
I'm not sure. I think yellow card accumulation does, but I'm not sure on a red card. So we'll have to look that up for the fan base.
I want to take you guys back in time. I don't know if you remember, there's another on-site player that we've talked about on our shit list for LAFC, and that's Serge Palentia. Remember, he and Cheeto had that exchange, which may or may not have contained. And so he's still there. He's still a heel. Like, I think he and Delgado both had some close calls in this past weekend's match.
If there's a red, I have to say it'll be because the Rapids fall behind and we get frustrated and do something stupid. Because I don't think, like, even if LAFC is losing, they're not, like, they've already got their spot. It's not a huge impact on them. So I don't know how emotional they will get comparatively. But I think if the Rapids start feeling frustrated, whether we go down or not, we could make some stupid mistakes, play a little bit aggressive, go in a little late, try and overcompensate with some fouls and get ourselves tossed. And that would be disappointing, but I think that would be, if there's a red card, that's the way I feel it'll happen.
Okay, I actually think this is really fun. I want us to do some predictions where we all call it on the pod. So let's start with Golden Boot winner. No editorializing, just who's going to win the Golden Boot.
Messi.
Yeah, okay. We're all Messi. Chris Armas coming back? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm a no. You both are going to say Rapids as one of 8 or 9. So I don't know how to ask this question without you all just telling me Rapids and Dallas. You cannot pick who are the which two teams make it into 8 and 9?
I think it gets weird and it's Rapids.
You don't have to get the order right.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the two teams sitting outside will fight hard and the other two teams will.
Because I think that would go to trend with season with the Rapids defying logic at every turn and San Jose being pure merchants of chaos.
I think Dallas is usually able to blow any lead they have, but I just think that this is a little too sizable and I haven't seen much out of San Jose. I'm going Dallas and Salt Lake.
Interesting. So you don't think Rapids make it?
No. I
Wait,
predicted
San
a
Jose
0-3 loss.
That's right.
I don't think San Jose and Rapids can make it, right? Because San Jose loses the tiebreak to Dallas, so they get to 41. But I don't think that's possible.
Wait, how does
That's a good
then
call.
how
That's a
can
good
San
call.
Jose get in it at all?
Because they get the 9th spot. So they can get to 41, and if the Rapids and Salt Lake don't get points, they're above us.
So who are you guys replacing in your prediction? Rapids and
Rocky
It's
Mountain.
got to be
It has to
Dallas
be
versus
Rapids and
Salt
Dallas.
Lake.
No, Rapids
Okay.
and RSL.
Okay,
No,
you're going
fuck
Rapids
them.
RSL?
Yeah.
And
I think
Monk's
fuck
going
Salt Lake.
Rapids and Dallas. All right,
Yeah.
well, we'll see.
Unacceptable. Can't believe you
I think
let
that's
those
fun.
words come out of your mouth.
Any other things we should put on record now before things get hot?
Who's making the MLS Cup, Matt?
I know what I want to see.
You know what you want to see?
Yeah, I want to see LAFC versus Miami.
Yeah.
I want to see East versus West, Bouanga and Sun takes on Messi and Suarez. I want
That
to
would
see
be a
that
great game. I'm going to go different than you, though, and I would say Minnesota versus Miami. I want Minnesota to come out of that top 4 and take the other 3 out.
Okay, wait. So I'm writing these down too. Monk was Minnesota, Miami.
Yeah.
Matt?
I think Vancouver, Philadelphia.
I think Vancouver's a good call. I think I'm going for LAFC because I want to see it. I also think it would be really fun for San Diego in their first
Matt
year.
calling Vancouver when he was like, the one positive, we're going to go play against Vancouver if we make it through round one, and they have no offense. And he's like, Vancouver's going to make it and just dominate.
So don't, I don't need you to do that for me. Rapids and Philadelphia. There you go, Monk.
Rapids and
The
Homer,
Keegan
all the
Rosenberry.
way.
Yeah. No, this is great. This will be a Keegan Rosenberry, Paxton Aronson, Zach Steffen derby.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to, regardless of where Rapids end, talking through the playoffs with you all. I think it's been a fun season, and I'm feeling all the antsiness about this decision day.
All right, everyone. We are fortunate to have with us today, hailing from Auburn, Washington, former Jackson Charger, Spokane Shadow, and both head coach and technical director for the Colorado Rush, your current head coach for the MLS Next Pro Cup contending Colorado Rapids 2, Erik Bushey. Erik.
That's a mouthful there, man. That was a mouthful.
I want to, give you the same respect that you deserve.
Yeah, cheers.
So, Coach, we'll start off how we always do. Tell the fans about yourself outside of soccer in your own words.
Outside of soccer,
yeah, there is an outside of soccer, right?
Well, let me create one here real quick. I'm my partner is Cami Lynn, and been with her since 2011, so many years. I have 3 stepkids, all out of the house. I'm closest with my one brother, who is academy director for Shattuck St. Mary's in Minneapolis. I do hail proudly from the state of Washington, and that's the world that surrounds me. But the rest of my world, outside of my dogs Puyol and Maya, the rest of my world is soccer. So the people around me, I think, understand that, and that's what I love and enjoy. So that is my world.
Well, being that is your world, let's talk more about your world as it relates to soccer. What's your experience and relationship between, or how has it been with the game that you love and now are the coach of a successful team?
My relationship with the game.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's love-hate. It's been I guess a long journey since I was 5, and again, NASL, Seattle, Washington, Seattle Sounders, New York Cosmos in their heyday, and Pele and Beckenbauer and Giorgio Canaglia, who is always one of my favorites, and blah blah blah. I've loved the game forever. I remember when I was a little kid, being in my living room, not only being both the player who was juggling the balloon, but the coach who was coaching the player juggling the balloon. That's just been a part of who I think have always been. And, playing experiences, coaching experiences, I am in this game for both the highs and the lows. I think I've found that it takes me to the heights and depths that there's just not a whole lot in my life that can. Sometimes that's very difficult to appreciate. 2 years ago in this job, it was difficult to appreciate. We were the best team in the country and we lost in pens, but that heartache is exactly why I'm in it. And when that emotion begins to subside, then I'll be doing something else. But right now that game brings it, this game brings it, and it'll do that not only on big event days or nights, but it brings it daily. The emotional swings, the passion that comes with it. That's why I'm in the game. That is my relationship with the game.
So we talked a little bit about, or we mentioned the Colorado Rush days. So can you talk about the trajectory of getting from the Rush to the Colorado Rapids?
Yeah, and I've been in Colorado since 2001. also proud of that as well. I think it's in my work, in my coaching, in my style, that what's needed, what the environment that I need to be in is fairly natural here in Colorado. So when I had the opportunity to move here and become a director with the Rush, I jumped at it. At the time, the Rush was, one of the best clubs in the country, and really were for quite some time. That was an important part of my career. So boys, girls, men, women who've worked with both sides and all ages. W League and on the women's side through USL with the Rush. But then, my career was taking me elsewhere, and I loved being a technical director. I loved driving the culture of what was really a massive club. But my heart and soul was just leading me towards a change. I had the opportunity to come here 2017 to take, a single team here in the academy. And that was a big deal. I was coming from directing a club, leading a staff, coaching 3 or 4 teams at a time, to now coaching just one youth team. That was incredible. It's all part of the evolution of our game in our country, which is really quite exceptional. If you look at one of our academy teams now and, fully staffed and multiple athletic trainers and equipment coordinators, and it's wonderful. So yeah, I was here to see a bit of that growth, but happy to have made that move. It was life-changing for me. MLS is where I think the fastest and greatest evolution in the game in our country is. So to be around it the last 8 years has been important for my own development. And then, once the Next Pro League was going to start up, it was also a natural pull for me to want to go after this job. And I'm grateful it's worked out between myself and the club to make this happen. They've been wonderful experiences, and I hope that our program and that my coaching as a part of that is helping the club. And I think the last tie that I would address is the between the Rapids and my time at the Rush, is that everybody right now in that coach's locker room I've worked with at the Rush. So Brandon Bumpus, who's our goalkeeping coach, I coached Colin Warner, the assistant coach. I coached Colin Harrison, our video analyst. All good players, by the way, in their own right. I coached Colin Freeman, who's our video analyst intern right now, was also a Rush player. I had him in programs at the club. It is really a close tie and one that I'm very proud of.
So even just within the Colorado sports sphere, there's a lot to watch. So maybe there are some that are not as on the up and up with the fever that R2 has been this season. How would you describe R2, the team, and like how it falls within the Colorado sports sphere, in particular within the MLS system?
Yeah. We're here to help the first team pretty much in everything. And fundamentally, we're about trying to identify and develop players that can be future, current and future, first team players. We provide a bridge between our academy and the first team because it's a big jump. It's a big enough jump from Rapids 2 to the first team. It's a massive jump from the academy to the first team. So we provide that bridge. We provide opportunity for players from the first team, if they're not getting the minutes that they need or they're coming off of injury, a way to help best prepare them to get back in to be fully functional and contributors for the first team. We serve that purpose. We are a team and a program that is designed to promote the individual. And so one of the greatest chores in our world is developing a team within that. Everybody in our group individually is trying to move themselves up the pecking order. They're trying to achieve their ultimate goal, and that's become a first team player. At the same time, we're trying to utilize a program and a team to help promote that player. And yeah, let's not forget what the player enjoys most, that's competing and winning. So it's a fair balancing act. But I do think it's been a valuable role for the league in general. And I believe it's been a valuable addition to our club. We serve fundamentally the first team, but we serve the club because we are right in the middle of the younger aspiring player that has great ability and the player who is expected to perform for the first team on a daily basis, and then everything in between.
Nice. So on that note, every team, every season is its own entity. How do you think we should see the 2025 Rapids 2 squad on whole?
Well, if you give me a few weeks, I might be able to give you a better answer. I hope you see him as champions. We
already do,
have,
Coach. We already do.
Yes, all right. Aren't you the nice guy? The players won't believe that unless they win their last game. So, really, we have a nice mix of players. We have some very talented young. They're all young, to be fair, in relative terms, but from academy, amateur players who, John Q. Public may watch and would not know if they're a second-year pro or an aspiring amateur, aspiring to be the pro. We have guys who are different levels of college graduates, guys who have taken a year or their first 2 years and then left school to come into play. We have guys who are brand new to the league, and we have players who have been a year or two, and in a couple of cases, a little bit more. The shelf life of our program, as you say, every team, it really is, it's a new story each year because of that changeover. But we have a group of fine young men, guys with character, guys also with a bit of bite, and a lot of personality. And I'm a big believer in the role personality plays in sport and in team sport. And I think where our dynamics last year, it told a different story. But the group that we have this year and some of the characters and some of the personality we have, it allows me to believe that we can win. So it's a pretty interesting cast of characters. We probably have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, a half dozen countries represented in our group, and guys from different corners of the world and different cultures, and they've come together quite well.
Going off of that last question, what are some similarities and differences that you see in this 2025 squad compared to that 2023 squad that made that deep playoff run?
Yeah, tough question. You don't ask the mom or dad to really to distinguish too much between the two siblings, but these are two good teams. Talk about personality. We had it in spades in 23. We probably had a little bit more experience. The 23 group that year for the first team, there was several young players, first team signed players, but young, new pros. And given the depth of the squad in that year, the size of the squad that year, there was a real need to help those young first team players. Well, they contributed a great deal to our younger, either academy or first time pros. A big deal in that team was the core group. If you go back, Marlon Vargas, Remy Cabral, Yosuke Hanya, Dada Amadou is still here, Stevie Flores is still here. So they have some of that experience to bring into this group. But the core group was able to really come together. And when first team players came into our group, it was they were joining this core, and the core believed that they would win. And guys meshed really quickly because of that. This year, it's taken longer for that. That process is not easy. A first team player comes in, you want to give them their due respect. It's not natural for them to come in and say, this second team, this is my team. We were able to create that culture in 23, where it's not quite the same this year. Everybody that's come in from the first team has been willing to give of themselves for the betterment of our team. And that's where we pull out, the importance of trying to be one club and trying to be consistent in that manner. So where the timing of the mix of the players or the chemistry of the players isn't quite the same as 23, it's still a locker room full of willing players. And there's still time for some of the biggest personalities, I think, to come out. The 23 group had individual players who could change the game like that. We have that capacity to do that, and it will likely be needed to win our last 4 games. But both teams have been able to take the environment that I talked about in terms of it being designed for the individual, to promote the individual. Both teams have been able to be a team, and that's why we're at where we're at right now.
It sounds like you as a coach grew a lot from that 2023 experience. Is there something that you learned from that run that will be beneficial in 2025 that maybe takes you to that next step to get that championship?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I try to learn from every experience, and 22, we tried to win games with smoke and mirrors. So we did what we could do to get 3 points. The next year, we were the best. The last year, we were amongst the least. It has to be said. We really struggled to put the team together. So really, I'm learning from all these experiences. If I want to go specific to 23, and I look at the game against Austin in particular, the one we lost in pens, we were so diligent in defense. It was a wonderful defending performance. We didn't get the ball in the back of the net. It was a 0-0 game. We have to bring the same diligence, but we've already been addressing it now for weeks, not just this week. We will not be passive. We will not be passive. We will be diligent, but we will not be passive. The opportunity is there to be taken. We want to make sure that the intensity, which we've lived by most of our season, we want to make sure that comes out in each of these knockout games.
Nice. So, because we're talking about the knockout games, MLS Next Pro has a really cool postseason mechanic in that the top seeded teams get to choose their initial opponents. As the 3rd seed, you didn't have a lot of options by the time it got to you. But what made you throw down the gauntlet to Vancouver and Whitecaps too?
The staff did a lot of work on this. We had both years we've been in the playoffs, there's been hours upon hours upon hours of work done on this, really. And you're right, Matt. We were going to have, one choice to make, one choice between 2 teams. Yet we went deep. We went through our games. We went to, our games against them, common opponents. We went to a feel, obviously our results, but a feel of what it was like when we played those games. What were the personnel? What was the personnel we had during those games? What was their personnel? What's the impact of first team players coming in and out of the lineup? Who's in the playoffs? Who's not in the playoffs? Ventura County has a lot of similarities to Vancouver, but we know Galaxy's not going to be in the playoffs. How does that impact the roster? Vancouver's a top team. We know they're going to be in the playoffs in terms of MLS. Does it? Maybe, maybe not. Point is, we're factoring all these things in. We look at stats very closely. How direct are they? Are they a passing team? What's their pressing habits? On and on and on. One word I've already used and that I expect to come out in full force Sunday is a level of intensity. We believe we have a greater level of intensity than Vancouver. We believe that there's a couple other teams in the division that also have a greater level of intensity. And there's a bit of just black and white. We felt it was going to come down between one team and Minnesota. Minnesota's kicked our ass for all season, so we're pretty sure we're not going to pick them. So who's going to be left? That's who we're going to take. I mean, we're not fools. So that's all a part of it. But really, a lot did go into it. We believe, even though we tied Vancouver 0-0, we really have a high level of confidence that we can win this game. And we believe that intensity can win out. And that's our expectation.
So you mentioned tying Vancouver 0-0, which I think was the last game on July 13th at the Richard. Went into pins, kind of exercised some of those demons, won in pins. It was a game that we saw Bilo take that unfortunate boot to the face, chipped his tooth. He wasn't able to participate in those pins, but hopefully you'll get Bilo this entire game. Has he expressed any sentiments or feelings about not being able to participate fully in that game, and is it something that he's looked forward to maybe exercise some of his own demons?
Well, I don't think he shared that sentiment. He's can be a man of a few words, unless we're talking French, and my French is not that good.
He does say "God willing" a lot. We got to talk to him.
There are
he
3
likes to say
words:
that.
God willing, goals.
Okay,
those are Bilo's 3 words.
I got to be honest with you; they're not 3 bad words. They're pretty powerful words. So I'm going to support him in that. I think he scored too many goals since then to be concerned about exercising those demons. And I do think he looks at the game as a 9 should. It's another opportunity for him to go out, impact the game, score goals. And he might be thinking about it though. I mean, he just had a boatload of dental work done in the last 2 weeks. I mean, the poor kid's been in some legit pain. So he might be a little bit more fueled than I know. But I think we have a chance to see a very good Bilo.
So the playoff format for Next Pro is win or go home from the jump, unlike the best of 3 play that starts off MLS playoffs. Additionally, these games will feature extra time for the first time this season if the match ends in a draw. How is the team preparing for that additional period from a tactical and stamina perspective?
Yeah, I think we've been doing that all year, and that's what we want the players believing and feeling and thinking that, if we want intensity to win out, then we know to carry that 90 plus minutes on every given week that, work's going to come along with that. We've tried to put ourselves in a position where we are robust, where we are confident, even with tired. You can't play the game without tired legs. So it's not about feeling fresh for 90 plus minutes. It's about knowing that you can go 90 plus minutes, still be robust, still be good, and still have the expectations that we want to be hardworking and intense, players. So from a physical standpoint, not much other than saying we've been working towards this all year. And then really, this has been the most efficient week probably in months. We have not stepped back from work or intensity. We have hit the mark in terms of our desired physical objectives for each day. We've been efficient with the timing or the length of training sessions. So in that way, we're doing everything we can for the players to feel both powerful but fresh. The only other thing that we've added is, and we've done this intermittently throughout the year, but not weekly, and there has been a heightened attention given to penalties. We do know that it's, we talked about a team 2 years ago, but we do know that's a possibility. We want as many guys as possible feeling comfortable and confident should they be called upon, should they have the desire to take a pen. So we've done that in a lot of repetition. We've done that in a very formal way and taking it game-like. There's no reproducing the game, but we've done our part in that. Otherwise, we'd probably prefer that our soccer went out in 90 minutes, but I think we'll be in a place that mentally we're strong enough if it needs to go another 30.
I really thought that was going to be your initial answer, is we're not planning for that because we're going to win in 90 every game.
Yeah, I tend to be a realist, but we'll see.
You kind of already touched on it, but kind of a hallmark, and going back to the regular season of MLS Next Pro, a hallmark of the team and really any MLS Next Pro team is kind of the fluidity of the rosters with the academy players, players going up to first team, players coming down from first team. Can you kind of walk the fans through what what mentality goes into managing kind of that come and go nature when you have situations for R2 this year where Colton Swan goes off to college, you bring in an academy player and Andre Erickson for the postseason run. I'm not sure what your roster looks like for Sunday, but maybe even having two college players in Sydney and Sam who recently had deep postseason runs in college, that maybe how that contributes to your mentality for the postseason for R2.
Yeah, that is a tough question, Keith, because going on all year long, the fluidity of the roster is something you have to really learn to embrace, because it can be, well, let's just say it can be challenging for a coach, for player, for staff alike. Yeah, this is also something that hopefully we've done a fair enough job throughout the year to prepare the coach, the player, the staff alike to be ready. You know, you think about, I mean, let's take this weekend. You want to look at this weekend where, you know, I'm not sure it's a massive debate that the biggest game for the first team of the entire year is tomorrow night. And yet there are players that want to be in that roster, who may be in that roster, and yet they're going to be playing on Sunday. You know, we talk about the environment that the players come into. There's not a lot of dialogue about the players coming into the environment. It's an exceptional challenge for the player, especially coming in for the first team, especially in and around or on the heels of such a massive game that we're going to see tomorrow night. And provided the expectation, of course, is that we win. You know, and we talk about the highs and the lows. Neither one's going to make it easier for that player on a Sunday. Very, very challenging. We have to be empathetic. We have to be compassionate towards that when the player comes into the environment. And yet we have to have certain expectations for the players that are coming in. For the guys who are in the environment on an everyday basis, from day one, it is a part of the dynamics. It is a part of the instruction, and it's a part of the culture to say, you have to be open to this. The academy kid coming in, who, by the way, can perform at a high level. The first player coming down. We have guys busting their backside every day that on match day -2 or even match day -1, they might be a first 11 player, only to find out on match day they're not. You can talk about it till you're blue in the face. It's never going to be easy for the athlete to accept these things. And yet that's what we're asking of them, for the greater good, to put in this moment, to put the team getting success ahead of their own. That's an incredible ask of the athlete. And I think if you look at our conference this year and you see how close it was, even going in the last couple of match days, you had teams in the bottom two of the league beating or tying the top two in the league. There aren't many things that are going to be great separators there. This is one. The ability to manage a group. Managing the group is going to be more important for me than out of running passing exercise. But our staff and our club, there's extended staff who will go in between, you know, the teams. It is very difficult. I think that's the point I'm hitting pretty hard here. We ask the players to be flexible, to put the team first and the club first. And they have to believe that we want what's best for them, the individual, at the same time. It is hard. And but nothing worth gaining or winning or achieving is ever going to come easy. And for our guys to take the next step, they have to deal with this adversity if they think they're going to deal with the adversity that's going to come with playing in this stadium on Saturday night. So it's all all comes together. But it's a tricky task and it's a big ask.
Now, touching on that wide cast of characters that will wear the R2 jersey all season and on into this postseason run, I have to say one of my favorite aspects about covering this team, and I'm sure Keith will echo it, is how much of their personalities these guys show. They're not quite like totally media trained or jaded by the exposure yet. You're still getting the full essence and kind of earnestness of these players coming into themselves. So I wanted to kind of get some of those storylines out there for the people that are going to be focusing in on Sunday to this team, to this match, to these names on the back of shirts. So I'm going to have you go through some superlatives and we're going to get some information out there for the fans on Sunday. So I want to start you off with who's been the most disciplined and who has been the class clown this season.
Oh my gosh. Let's go disciplined. Boy, you'd like to have this answer right off the tip of your tongue, I imagine. I guess I could say they've all been so disciplined it's tough to come up with one.
Yeah, but I've never known you to lie, so.
Well, I appreciate that, and you haven't known me very long. Disciplined. Dawda Amadou. Disciplined, know what you're going to get. He is a soldier and a leader and an impact every day. So I'll go with him first. Class clown. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Chuck. I mean, but Charlie Harper has that in spades. If you put Kofi and Sydney around him, they blossom in a similar clown fashion. So there are a few that can really hold that title, though, if I'm to be honest.
All right.
So who is, if they're different, who is the most vocal and who is the most leaderly?
Well, again, if you go back to the clown, you can be three or four fields over, and you'll hear Charlie Harper's voice resonating throughout the grounds. He is a loud person. There's no doubt about that. And what was the other one? The leader?
Yes.
Yeah, really a shared responsibility here. We really looked Dawda as one of the leaders. I already referenced that. Malik Pinto, who's not here, is on loan at Orange County, fighting for the playoffs there. He has been. Stevie, we've looked upon with his experience and his character to be that player. And then one player that wore the armband in our last game against Ventura, and he and I had talked about this preseason. He was training a lot with our first team, Anderson Rosa. Just brings in a lot of experience, both worldly experience and soccer experience. Charlie with his voice, I'm sure he wants me to tell you that it's him, but for now we'll keep him at the clown.
All right. So best dancer and best on the ball footwork.
Also, you think that might be the same person?
You never know.
I'm not going to pretend to know. I know all of the dancing skills, but Rogelio Garcia is a pretty spry young man. I bet he can break down some moves. I wouldn't see Sidney Watuda as being a big dancer, but he could be in a ballet if he has the ball at his feet. He is a smooth technician. So I think he's going to get that award pretty quick.
All right. So we've got El Batman and Etoile. There we go.
All right. How about most improved and biggest surprise if there are two different people?
That's a difficult award. I think it depends who's giving it to me. If I'm going to get the most improved, it's like, well, where was I? So I'm careful about that. We support the boys; they're all talented, but I think you look at James Cameron right now. He could be he could have the most goal contributions in the country in the last 6-7 games. Half those were coming off the bench. He started the season as a right back. Now he's playing left wing or on the right, 7-11. This guy has had he has a unique drive, a competitive spirit that is legit. And if anybody's seen the goal that he scored on the header against Ventura County, there it is in full display. So his improvement and that desire, that competitive drive coming out has really been both a massive improvement and a legit surprise. I did not see that in him when he arrived, so we'll go with him.
For everyone listening and the three of us here right now, can we agree that Cameron's new nickname is 7-Eleven? He's everywhere and he's always open.
All right, let's go for it.
Oh, you just coined it right there. All right, let's go highest game IQ and highest game creativity, if those are different.
I like this one. Highest game IQ. IQ. Boy, there's a lot. You have Stevie Flores, who's been here for a while and has gained I think hopefully a lot of knowledge, but he also has a natural feel for the game. He has a high soccer IQ. What was the next one?
Game creativity.
Yeah, I mean, creativity goes. It really is going to go hand in hand with what Sid can do with the ball. There's a lot of ways to look at creativity. I think that's the most exciting one. That's the most sexy one. You're talking about what guys can do, how they can manipulate the ball. We have guys like Rogelio with Copeland who are create through their movement, and their running and their directness. And then you have Rosa on the left, who left back, but he creates through his passing. So you have these pieces that are unique to them, and you could describe it how you might in terms of that creativity. And then there's an element of Ali Fadal, who's been with us a lot the last quarter of the season, and he's got a little bit of everything, including a lot of bite, but he could fall in that soccer IQ because he also has a wealth of experience.
All right. Most likely to get stuck in, and then who are the most likely to be together off the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully there's no clear-cut answer to this one too. Dowd has never been afraid to hit somebody. Charlie looks for the opportunity to destroy somebody. Kofi Sinanu, the same. They're simply not going to shy away. Ali Fadal, I just referenced, absolute courage. So yeah, they're getting stuck in. What was there another one with that one?
And who are the most likely to be together off the pitch?
Yes. Yeah, these young men have come in at the same time, from the college ranks, if you will. I'm sure you're going to find them on a mountain hike or a cooking class together. So, I believe Sid is actually a big cook as well. But Josh Copeland, Kofi, Charlie, these guys are, I think, pretty much birds of a feather. And you might, if you're by the right river or pond, you might see Rogelio and Stevie out fishing. But yeah, those can be, that's almost a big brother, little brother situation there, I think.
All right, player you personally would least like to play against?
From my team, I'm assuming.
From your team.
Yeah.
You're both players. You're playing against each other. Who's it going to be you don't want to face off with?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I think it becomes more difficult because as I envision this happening, I can envision the number of players that might line up and like to have a crack at me. So, can you see it? Can you see their eyes getting big? Can you see them beginning to salivate and say, this is my chance to wreck Bushey? I could see that probably all too easy. And there's a lot of players that are capable of doing that. So I'm going to say that list is probably too long to give just an answer or two.
Well, I guess you could answer it the other way. Who would be the first in line to want to play against you?
Is that the same question? First line to play again. They might be fighting each other probably for that. Let's see. I feel like I mentioned Charlie so much. I know he's going to be at the front of the line. There's a few guys that have some ulterior motives in there. I could see, the hockey side of James, the Canadian, coming out and saying, this is let me show you how we really forecheck. So I might guess that those guys are close to the top of the list. Josh Copeland, he might want to have a little bit of a battle. So yeah, again, there's a list there.
All right. Well, this one is going to be easier. Your regular season MVP.
Oh man, come on, you're killing me.
There's going to be a postseason one as well. So there's room for.
One of the earlier questions about the surprise. I mean, I think I always saw, and we always saw potential in the player. We've had to win games with a lot of different players. We've had to move Sydney up to the first team. We've had to move Dowd up to the first team. Guys have been in and out between academy and the first team. We've had injury suspensions, like every team. I'm not sure we're at where we're at without Bilo Diop. And to see this young man come in, new to the area, he's learning the language while he's here, who has, such really a bright personality that, if you're not constantly communicating, you don't always see that come out. So you're looking for it in the smile and you're looking for it how he plays. And he is a player that the opponent must be concerned with. And he wasn't a known quantity at the beginning of the year. He is a known quantity now, and he's still impacting games, which means he's continuing to grow and he's continuing to perform. So, I mean, how it is with the coach and the players. There really are going to be different players who are going to be in that discussion, but for sure you cannot have that discussion without talking about him.
Well, God willing, he'll be scoring goals for you for a little bit longer.
I see what you've done there, Keith. I've seen that.
All right, last question. Why is this team going to win the 2025 MLS Next Pro Cup?
Yeah, because I think they believe in one another. I think that they have the ability, and I believe they know this, in the biggest moments, they have the ability to fall back on their training. And these guys train hard. And I think that's going to be the foundation of our success.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to have this conversation with us. Keith, for jumping in. I feel like we've been doing this through thick and thin the whole season. I was talking to Kinsey about the game on Sunday. Wouldn't miss it for the world. It's been such a joy to be so up close and personal with this team. I think it's a really special group of players and coaches, for what it's worth.
Well, I genuinely want to thank you both for being consistent parties here at the stadium and Denver and Greeley, wherever we are, there's attention. And, we're not the biggest show in town, but these guys have the ability to put on a show, and that doesn't get expressed without your guys' help. If I could speak for the program, I'm genuinely grateful for this attention. And for the support of our program and our club. So thank you both so much.
I'll put out a couple tweets to get some more butts and seats there on Sunday. I'll get one more.
All right, keep working.
All right, so Rapids 2 play Vancouver Whitecaps 2 this Sunday, October 19th at Dick's Sporting Goods Park at 2 p.m. Erik Bushey, thank you. And we're signing off.
Up the fucking
You're not
pits.
wrong. Up the pits.
Matt, where can they find you?
Oh,
We don't need that.
we do. If they don't know by now,
If
then
they don't know by
need
this
to.
point,
All right, just say up the fucking pits again.
Up the fucking pits.
up the fucking pins.
One last time, up the pids.
You can find me on Colfax. Let's go. Sergey Palencia. It's on site.
Tú tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial.